Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. This is our Christmas Day video for you guys. So
Yeah.
this is Jessica's idea. Hopefully you like it.
So nothing says the gift that keeps on giving like pierced heroes. So you guys are getting pierced heroes.
If you say so.
So we've got 10 pierced hero Rex for your Christmas day. So it just happened to fall on Christmas, but we thought that was kind of funny. So we're doing it.
Okay.
But before we start in with those piercings.
Okay, well, if you are new here, we would love for you to hit that subscribe button. We appreciate that very much. And like and comment. And today, we would love for you to comment any questions that you have for us. So we are getting ready to do our 3-year anniversary on BookTube video, which will be out at the first of the year. So give us any questions that you have that you want us to answer in that video.
Yeah, and they don't have to be bookish questions.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah. Those ones, the ones that aren't bookish are honestly easier to answer. So, yeah.
Sometimes that is true.
Sometimes. Okay, so let's get started with the Rex with our pierced dudes. You ready for it? Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, so the first book that I have with the pierced ding-a-ling is His Juliet by Amelia. Yeah, it's Amelia Rossi. I really have to stretch to do this. Okay, so this is Mafia Romance. This is in the Empire of Royal series. It is book 2 in the Empire of Royal series, but they are interconnected standalones, so you can read it as a standalone. So this is about Juliet and Romeo, and yes, that really is their names. It's kind of a running joke. So Juliet is an agoraphobic, and she can only go to from her apartment to work, which is very close by. She cannot leave at all. And one night, she works in a bookstore, and she's stocking shelves and putting things all back together when Romeo bursts in and comes in and hides in her bookstore and starts eating her pizza, because that is who he is. He is on the run. I think it was the Albanians or something are after him. And so he's trying to hide to make sure that, he doesn't get caught, because he didn't have any of his boys with him, because he's our mafia guy. And he develops a liking to our heroine here, to Juliet. And so when danger comes calling, because he keeps showing up, so the Albanian guys figure out that is who he likes, then he has to get her out of her apartment to his place to keep her safe. But she's an agoraphobic, and leaving is not something that she feels like she can do. So this is their story. And yes, he has a piercing.
Okay. Well, my first one is called One Night Seduction by Caitlin Taylor. This is very taboo. It's mom's ex-husband. This is Ariana and Logan, and it's mom's ex-husband. So it's Caitlin Taylor. If you've not read Caitlin Taylor, then what I'm going to say might not make sense, but if you read her, you probably know what I'm talking about. She goes all in, and it goes very quick in this story. So her and her ex-stepdad get together pretty quick. It is a wild ride in this one. They're together. Her and her mom don't really have a very good relationship, obviously. And they go off together to this cabin. There's other people there. It is quite wild and very bizarre land, but he is pierced. He has a double barbell. So I really don't know even how to talk about this book. If you don't like Taboo, you're not going to enjoy this. But if you like Taboo, you will love it, because it is wild and very, very taboo. And again, he is pierced. That's my book rec for that one. Okay. It is very bizarre, but it's hard to talk about because the things that happen would be kind of spoilers to say, but it's very wild and bizarre.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of wild, I have a Lola King book. So this is Delightful Sins, and it is book number, I think it's 3. Yeah, it's number 3 in the North Shore series. I know she says you should probably start at the beginning and go all the way through. I don't know. I don't feel that you have to. I mean, you see other characters, but I still don't think you have to read them all in order because I read them out of order. So this is Jade's story. Jade has ran from the North Shore from the gang that she's a part of. The gang itself is accusing her of um, stealing from them. And so she, even though she didn't, she knows that if she gets caught, it is her life on the line and she wants no part of that. And so she has been on the run for several years. There's 2 boys that she has a situation with. One of them was like the love of her life. And then the other one was the one that she was literally screwing forever. And that is his stepbrother. And so now the boys have found her and they are dragging her back to the North Shore to atone for what she's done and also to atone for what she's done for them. And one of those boys is pierced. So, you know, I loved this book. This book was great. It's an MFM. So she doesn't have to choose between them.
Okay, my next one is a little bit different because we actually see him get his piercing in the book. And normally our heroes are already pierced. So this one is it's different. The whole book is very different. So this is My Neighbor's Secret by Lauren Rowe. So Charlotte ends up moving into like an apartment building and her neighbor is Augie and she cannot stand Augie. Augie is just this clean-cut, perfect guy and he drives her nuts. Well, one day when she's doing some remodeling in her apartment, she's pulling some wallpaper off the wall and notices there's a hole where she can see directly into Augie's bedroom and sees what he is doing. So Augie has been doing some online stuff that is what you're thinking it is, but way different. There's puppets involved and like a whole space show. It is really, really corny and hilarious. So Charlotte watches this and realizes that Augie is making a lot of money doing this. So she decides to proposition him basically into letting her join him because she's in desperate need of money. And you'll find out more about why she needs this money really badly when you read the story book. Um, so they end up doing this together, and somebody who watches their show offers to pay like $500 to watch Augie get pierced. And Augie's like, there's no way I'm piercing my junk. And so Charlotte's like, well, let's see if somebody would pay $1,000 for this. And so eventually they get some people who want to spend a lot of money watching them get pierced. So Augie reluctantly goes to the tattoo shop to get his stuff pierced, but he gets like a pubic bone piercing instead because he doesn't want that part of him pierced. So he is pierced, but at the base. So this book was wild and it's super different and really quite funny. I loved it.
Okay. Well, mine's not funny. Mine's really, really dark, but there's still a piercing, so it's still good. It's just really weird. Okay, so the next book I have is Degradation by Ellie Sanders. This is the 3rd book in her brother-in-law's series. I do think she wrote them in a way that you don't have to read them in order. I mean, I would, but you don't have to. So this one is Caitlin and Devin's story. These are seriously some of the darkest books I've ever read, and the heroines are forced to stay with the heroes even when they have to do things to get them to stay, like, really horrible things to get them to stay, maybe to their own bodies. But anyhow, so Palin is given in marriage to the chapter lord of the Brethren, so this secret society. He's old and he's gross and he's crazy, and she is just she doesn't like it. Obviously, none of us would like it. So he's very abusive to her as well, and Devin is one of his guards. And so he becomes, it's one of his bodyguards, but he develops this obsession for her. It is not reciprocated, but he does develop this obsession for her. And then things just go downhill from there. And this poor girl has been put through hell, and then now she's going to get put through hell again with a guy that's just off his rocker. Devin is pierced, but he's pierced in a way that if you were to have that inside of you, the piercing that he has is made to damage. And so it's not a fun piercing. It's not cool. It does go away eventually in the book, but that is just kind of shows you how sadistic these guys are. But again, I did enjoy the book, not as much as the first two, but I did love it. I mean, it was still a solid 4 stars and I still liked it. So it is a good book to read. It's just, it's a different take on the piercing. It's a very dark, and I am aware that I need therapy. So, okay.
All right, so next I have Undeniably Corrupt by J. Saman. This is Leora and Vander's story. So Leora and Vander were together as teens. It was kind of a secret thing because Vander was Leora's brother's best friend. Her brother has died, and there's this whole kind of mystery around what exactly went down there. And so now Leora is in Boston. She's working, she's going to school, she's taking care of her daughter. She's barely making ends meet, and she is working as a stripper, trying to go to school. And it's just, she's really, really struggling, but her family has a lot of money. Vander works tech, and he's a hacker. He works long, crazy hours in his closet. And one day he comes out after being in there for he'll stay in there for days. And so he comes out, he goes down to the coffee shop where she also works and sees her. He looks like this crazed person who maybe, sleeps on the streets, might be a drug addict. He just looks really, really rough and crazed. So she does not recognize him. He recognizes her. And he decides that the best thing to do is to get her fired. So she's forced to come work for him because he doesn't want her living like this. And so he has a lot of money and can take care of her, basically. She wants nothing to do with him, but is kind of forced into the situation because she's desperate to take care of her daughter. So that's how that goes. Now, to get to the good part of this is he is pierced, and I had to write notes because he has multiple piercings. He has a reverse Prince Albert. He has how do you say that? Frenulum
I think.
Frenulum piercing, and then
something
two
like that,
more
yeah.
Jacob's ladders beneath it.
Good God.
He must jingle and jangle when he's walking around. Anyways, so those are his piercings, and yes. So take out the piercings and the book is really, well, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. I was going to say take out the piercings and the book is really good. The book is really good with or without the piercings.
Yeah. I just kind of wonder,
sorry.
What is the material that the piercings are made out of? Do you set off an alarm when you go through TSA if you have that many junk piercings? That's what I'm.
But there's a lot of women who have huge, and there's that one earring where you do the big barbell through here, and they don't usually.
No, but even I get pulled aside when we go through TSA once in a while because I have so many metal clips in my chest and stomach because it's so much metal. Not that it sets it off. It's just they see it on the scanner and they want to double check. So
are you asking all these questions because you're thinking of a new career path?
Yes, that is exactly.
I thought
that is exactly it. Okay, so the next book that I have, pervert. Yeah, the next book that I have is Dark Obsession by Effie Campbell. Again, this is the third book in the series. Not sure why you're getting all the 3 books today, guys, but sorry, that thing wiggles when I move it. But that's what's happening. But this again is also an interconnected standalone. It can be read on its own. But this is about Katie and Mac. Mac is married to Katie's brother's wife, I believe, or their sister. Anyhow, they're connected through family, basically. And Mac has always had a thing for Katie. Now she has a boyfriend. He is actually a rock star, and he has become very abusive in the recent months. But Mac has always been so obsessed with her that he just kind of watches from afar. He's never engaged. They don't really get along, but he has this thing for her, and he doesn't want to put himself in her life, but he also wants to make sure that she's okay. So as he's noticing that this abuse is starting and that she's changing, she's getting really thin, she's kind of, closing in on herself, he starts to become her stalker, which, why not? He actually becomes her masked stalker. And then one night he shows up in her bedroom in the mask, and things happen between the two of them. And yes, he is pierced. And then, that makes a very interesting situation when she doesn't realize that he is her stalker, but she and Mac start to develop feelings for each other because he can't let her see the pierced ding-a-ling because that's going to give it away as to who he is, unless there's a whole plethora of guys hanging out around her with piercings. So anyhow, I did like their story. It is a masked stalker situation. It is mafia, and it is good. Probably my favorite in the series.
Okay, so next I have Somehow You Knew by Harlow James. So we have Hazel and Gage. Hazel and Gage have both sworn off dating, and they're both fine with that. Hazel is befriended a woman, an older woman in their community, Diane, and they have been good friends. She does things for Diane, and Diane ends up passing away and leaves Hazel an inheritance. So she goes to find out what this is. Gage is there as well. She recognizes Gage from a past encounter, so she's already a little frustrated with the situation when she finds out that Diane has left her and Gage, I think it was, I wrote it down, it was like millions of dollars. And they only get it if they marry each other and stay married for 6 months. And so they're both like, no, but then they're like, maybe this is a lot of money. Like, why would Diane do this to us? Turns out Gage is Diane's nephew. And so they go ahead and get married, and then letters start arriving from Diane that she had planned this whole thing out where they have to then go on these like couple dates and things like that and complete these different challenges to end up with the money at the end. And of course, Gage is pierced
Of course.
for Hazel's pleasure.
Of course. Okay. So
I don't know if it was specifically for Hazel's pleasure. That is one thing that kind of trips me up about these pierced heroes, is if they are already pierced, then it was for somebody else.
Or it was just for people in general, just as
Yes.
this is great for girls. Yeah. Mhm. I don't question it. It's in fiction. So
What?
yeah, did you not know that?
I thought we were reading biographies this whole time.
Wow, those are some messed up biographies. Okay, so my last rec is probably the lightest out of the books that I have here as far as darkness, because it's not really dark at all, but it does start a series that gets dark later. Make that make sense. Anyhow, Bull Rush by Maggie Rodden. So this is a second chance romance about Ramsey and Hazel. So Ramsey and Hazel were married when they were very young, right out of high school. And Ramsey was, preparing for the NFL. He's a football player. He was going to make it big. And when he did go off to be a part of the NFL, Hazel got left behind and their marriage fell apart and they got divorced. And so in the divorce, she kept his family ranch. That's what she got, was his family's homestead there. He's letting her have that. And so she has made it into a bed and breakfast. It's floundering. Basically, she has a lot of old ladies that are there all the time, but that's what's happening. So Ramsey has recently gotten to, I guess we'd say, some trouble. He was arrested on charges of murder, defending one of the other football team's women, whatever. And now he's been in jail, but he's out and he is on parole. And they come to find out that he and Hazel are still married. Now, she thought she sent off the paperwork. She thought she did it properly. And apparently she didn't. So they are still technically married. And his parole officer says, well, you've got to go live at this property with your wife for 3 months while you're on parole. And Hazel is engaged to somebody else. So when Ramsey shows up, he basically says, look, I'll make a deal with you. I'll give you the divorce. I'll give you the house. I'll get you whatever you need. I'll bail you out of the situation. But your fiance needs to go, and he needs to be gone for these 3 months. And during these 3 months, I want us to live like we are still married, like fully husband and wife. And then at one point she realizes that he's since got a piercing that wasn't there before. So this is the first book in the, what does she call this? The Quiet Horseman series. This one is not dark, but there are a couple of things that happen in here that might make it morally gray, but his brother's books that come after get darker. So loved this one. It was great. I really loved her reaction to finding the piercing. It was awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is my last one, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I have Axel by Kelly Finley. So Axel has it really bad for his paralegal Ruby. So bad that he has taken up stalking her. So he knows where she jogs in the morning. So he is following behind her. Funny thing is, though, is he's probably not the best stalker because Ruby has figured out that he's been stalking her. So she's stalking him back. Axel is like massively in love with Ruby, and he is in a family that has extremely uh, taboo rituals. And so when they take a woman, the whole family is involved, if that makes sense. Like it is really quite wild. And so he has just been kind of biding his time for Ruby to be ready to embrace his family, their traditions, and rituals. And they end up in a situation where he finds her spying on him. So he takes her and decides that this is the time to make her his. And Ruby is also very excited to find that he is pierced at the base. And it is described as a ring the size of a quarter for Ruby's pleasure.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now I need to go to Google and Google all of these things.
Yes. So before we end, I did say I had a funny story to share.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes. So I I only had written down like 3 of these books, and I felt like I had read more, so I was trying to think of authors that I could ask like, "Hey, so our friend Karen Crompton has, and a couple of our other author friends have like rock stars and that sort of thing where maybe you might read that a little more commonly sometimes. So I was trying to message Karen and just saying, hey, Jessica and I are getting ready to do this video. And I was just wondering if any of your heroes were pierced. I was not very diligent about writing these down. So, and then I was like, questions I never thought I would send somebody, haha. Well, Karen did not respond back to me because because sometimes Instagram is like, I'll click on it and it should be going to that person, but it stays on where it was at or something. And so it accidentally sent that to Valentine PR. To which they responded very kindly, hey, not sure this was meant for us.
Yeah.
To which I then had to say, no, it was not. I'm so, so sorry. And they were like, oh, that was a pretty funny one. Like, yeah, I would like to say this is the first time this has happened to me, but it's not.
I'm
So yes,
surprised you didn't
so
throw out there
don't
some
mind
books.
me messaging PR companies that are quite big and asking them about their pierced heroes when
But
I was really trying to message Karen.
if they're
And
quite big, that means that
hmm,
they should have some pierced heroes in their repertoire, and they should have given you some suggestions.
that would have been funny. And in
Yeah.
case anyone was wondering, Karen does not.
Yeah, no. Yeah. But she could in the
I
future.
was just I
Karen.
ended up finding some more, and I guess I just don't like when it happens, I'm not being as diligent as I should be.
It is the first thing when it happens in a book. I typically run to we do our notes like the night before the day of our
Yeah.
recording, but I will run to my journal and jot it in there.
It was not in my trope journal, okay?
Oh no,
I will be
don't.
more diligent.
I put it in where the tropes are inside our reading journal. It's like the first thing because it makes me excited that I
Okay.
found one for the future. So, okay, let's wrap her up.
Well, make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and sometimes Wednesdays for new videos from us. And Merry Christmas, and thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Nope, Jessica's gonna finish that off.
I am, yes. So to reiterate, Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.